Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. You're not. Happy New Year 2025. First video of 2025 for me, guys. 2024 has been a pretty good year for me. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. And I pray 2025 is an excellent year for me. And that I can just continue going. Guys, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, and share. Half of you are on the fence. Half of you make fun of my funny hair. I see it. But there's nothing I could do about it. Cut it all off. Throw on a wig. Be Gypsy Rose. I don't know. Guys, I was watching Morgan Allena's YouTube. Now, I've talked about Morgan before. She's got some pretty good theories. And she has one that is about Gypsy. Gypsy being the one that perpetuated this whole thing. Now, granted and fine, we know that Gypsy had a small little motorcycle accident with her granddad and that there became the wheelchair. But we also know that because of the microdeletion, that her muscles would sometimes not be strong. To this day, she has said, sometimes her legs get weak. So the wheelchair, a lot of us believe, was used more or less like a stroller. When a baby gets tired or a toddler gets tired, instead of them whining and misbehaving and kicking up a storm or laying on the ground and you trying to pull them along, you pick up the kid, you throw them in the stroller, and you push them along because you're going to take them with you. And that's the way, supposedly, that the wheelchair for Gypsy was to be used. When she got tired or got spoiled, had a tantrum, you put her in the stroller or in the wheelchair. But Morgan has an idea that perhaps it was Gypsy that was telling the doctors that she was sick because she liked the attention. Maybe the thing that Gypsy started realizing was that when Dee Dee made a big deal about Gypsy being sick or maybe, being overprotective of her daughter, that all that attention Gypsy liked, and perhaps Gypsy took it one step further and further and further. And there's also a theory that Morgan, and I never thought of it, but it definitely seems possible, not only that Gypsy might very well have perpetrated her own narrative about not feeling well and not being well, because there's evidence that Gypsy was telling the doctors how she felt, and that Dee Dee was saying she was fine with the way things were appearing. And people with Munchausen don't do that. They just keep making the situation worse. So that doesn't seem to be the thing. Did she malinger? Yes, I totally think that she malingered and she was a con artist. But they were both in on it. I totally believe they were in on it. And again, Morgan Allena seems to think that maybe there is some sort of fascination, or I don't want to say unhealthy. Let's go with unhealthy instead of the P word. Unhealthy desire and love affair that Gypsy felt towards her dad, and somehow maybe that got misconstrued or confused in her own mind, in the fact that maybe Gypsy didn't really think of Rod as her dad per se, but started thinking of Rod as somebody she could share her life with. Some messed up, weird psychology in it. And, this, unfortunately, I have heard of things like this before. I didn't give any credence to it or any thought about it whatsoever until I started binge watching some of Morgan Allena's videos, and I started thinking some of this stuff is believable I don't know if it's the truth, but it does leave reasonable doubt in saying, what if this whole damn thing was about Gypsy and the way she feels about her dad? What if this whole damn thing was about Gypsy going around with the lie that no matter what, she wasn't feeling any better because Gypsy liked the attention, Gypsy liked the free stuff, and her mom went with it? What about that theory? Do you think that there's anything to that theory? Have you guys thought about it? I've reached out to Morgan Allena, and I'm hoping that I could do a video with her. I can do an interview with her. I'd love to know more about her background and talk more about this, because I believe in some of these theories that she has as to why Gypsy, or what perpetrated the health issues, and how much did Gypsy really know, and how much was she really responsible for? Because as we're finding more and more out, Gypsy no fool. She was no fool. She's gotten to fooldom now, because she thinks that she just got away with everything. And as we see, this is going to be the year of her demise. But I'd sure like to figure out what happened. You know, how did it go about? How did it happen? How long has she been planning the unaliving of her mom? You know, what was it that she really felt towards her mom? What did she really do to unalive her mom? Was she just the mastermind, or did she actually do something? I totally think she did something, and I haven't changed my mind about, Nick's role in this, and what I think she thought Nick's role was going to be in this. So that's my feeling about it.
It was her behavioral problems that were causing her to fake her illness. And I'm not talking about the actual things that she has with her chromosome problems, but everything else, the doctors accused Gypsy, not Dee Dee. So let's talk about it. I was reading through them, and then I noticed something interesting. When the doctors were typing their notes, it was a pretty common occurrence where it said that Gypsy would refuse to eat or drink whenever she was sick. She would tell the doctors, not Dee Dee, Gypsy would tell the doctors that she wasn't getting better with treatments. And speaking of Dee Dee, she would say that she's happy with the results. If something was normal or not significant, she was fine with that. In the HBO documentary, they wanted to say that there was a doctor that said Dee Dee was a bad historian. Why? Because Dee Dee told them that. She was the one that said that. It wasn't because they thought that. As a matter of fact, if you look up at the very top, it says, this was from a speech therapist doing a swallow study. She had significant gagging and coughing with inconsistencies, but those speech therapists felt that some of this may have been behavioral rather than a true swallowing dysfunction. That means they thought it was Gypsy. It literally was Gypsy the entire time. But they want to spin the story. Yep, Gypsy said she's attending school, she returned from Louisiana, but she gets out of breath really quickly. It says the patient has exhibited significant difficulty swallowing with all the consistency of the food. There's significant gagging with each attempt to swallow. Only small quantities were swallowed without spitting out the food. It was also Gypsy here that said that after a breathing treatment she received that she still wasn't doing any better. Not Dee Dee, it was Gypsy. Somebody with Munchausen syndrome by proxy does not accept a normal diagnosis for anything. And if you go through those records, you will see over and over and over again that Dee Dee was totally cool with it. If it was normal, she was like, bet, that's great. So it was Gypsy the entire time. Did a doctor diagnose Gypsy Rose Blanchard with having disturbed behavior? So I'm going to show you the record and I'll let you decide, or if you're a medical professional and you can provide some insight, I would appreciate that, because it's kind of looking like Gypsy has a medical history of acute severe behavioral disturbances. And also just a gentle reminder that if you are not already following me, if you enjoy seeing my videos and you want to see more of them, I try to be different and focus on different aspects of cases and the little details that people seem to just skip over. That's really my thing because I'm weird, but yeah. So if you enjoy these videos, hit the follow button and let's go. This is all alleged for educational purposes only.
So guys, what do you think of all this? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. I'm really interested. Did you think about this? Is there something, did you give any thought to it? Do you believe any of this? Do you think that there's any truth to this theory? Any possibility? Any probability? Guys, what do you think? This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind, guys. Thank you.